The Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis, and we're ready for our first game of the day, coming out of the Midwest region as 14th-seeded North Dakota State takes on the defending national champion. So let's take a look at the bracket here in the Midwest. Our next game, 6 versus 11, Bob Huggins and the West Virginia Mountaineers against Dayton, and then later on we'll have the ACC versus the Pac-10 BCSC, and then second-seeded Michigan State against Robert Morris. Our lineup here: North Dakota State, Ben Woodside, he's their best player, had 60 points in a game this season. Meanwhile, for Kansas, Sharon Collins is their best player. He can move up and down the floor. Good player both offensively and defensively. Saul Phillips in his second season as the head coach, longtime assistant at Wisconsin, also assisted here at North Dakota State before taking over the head coaching job. On the other sideline, Bill Self led his team to the national championship a year ago with a 75-68 win over Memphis, and they're playing just as well this season. Your officials: Collins, Dorsey, Staffen. Today's game brought to you in high-definition television by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore with you from the Metrodome. 4 good games on tap today. And Lenny, as this one gets ready to begin, what should we pay attention to?
Well, certainly North Dakota State is America's darling right now. 14 seed, but they dominated the Summit League, winning 16 games there this year, their first eligible year for the NCAA tournament. And certainly Kansas, you talk about returning national champs, although Bill Self will tell you this is a completely different team. They got size, they've got depth. The question is going to be experience. North Dakota State, 4 redshirt seniors on their starting 5. Kansas, only Sharon Collins is a starter coming back from last year's national championship team.
So here comes North Dakota State. They run a motion offense. Woodside will have the ball most of the time, and he's guarded by Collins, one of the best defenders in the Big 12.
Well, one of the things Saul Phillips told us is in their motion offense, if Mike Nelson gets a lot of good looks, that they're feeling like they're rolling.
Collins the other way, and he throws it out of bounds. So a turnover already for Kansas. But for North Dakota State, they come into this game winners of 7 in a row, including a 66-64 win over Oakland. And the Summit League Tournament Championship, Woodside hit the game winner. North Dakota State has won 18 of their last 19. And Lenny, this is like a home game for them. They're about 6 hours away, Fargo, North Dakota.
I'll tell you what, it looks like the whole state of North Dakota is here.
Ball
in
kept
this
alive
arena.
and saved from going out of bounds.
A lot of gold and green.
This is Winkleman, their second leading scorer. He averages close to 20 a game.
You take a look at North Dakota State, very patient right now against Kansas, but this is a team that averages 81 points a game, so you know they want to play up-tempo.
Baseline jump shot, pure for Mike Nelson. He's a senior from Madison, Wisconsin, and North Dakota State is on the board.
Well, averaging 12 points a game, and Nelson 40% from beyond the arc. As we saw, he can shoot it.
Ball knocked away. Winkleman trying to track it down. And look at the bodies on the floor already. North Dakota State playing with tremendous energy early. As you take a look, they're located in Fargo, out of the Summit. First NCAA Division I appearance. They have gone to the tournament at the Division II level. Now Collins, Aldridge, he can shoot it.
He can shoot it, but maybe not from that spot.
And Lenny, what are the keys to the game?
Well, for North Dakota State, they've got to keep Ben Woodside on the floor. He's the spark plug that fires the engine, particularly on offense. And for Kansas, they got to put the Bison to pasture early. They can't let North Dakota State hang around too long. Otherwise, they'll believe they can beat this team.
Tweet picked up the foul. His first. So Kansas, they have won 6 of their last 8, 25-7. Collins inside, tough shot, and he knocked it down.
Well, Sharon Collins, 4th in the Big 12 in scoring, all-conference first team. He's the other leader, the mirror image almost of Ben Woodside from North Dakota State.
And also a tremendous defender, Sharon Collins, from a tough neighborhood in Chicago.
Certainly has a matchup bears watching.
Tweet fires and hits it again. One thing about North Dakota State, they're ranked 5th in the nation, Lynn, in three-point field goal percentage at 41%, so they can really stroke it.
And they'll stroke it not only in their half-court set, but certainly in transition. Tweet, 21 points against Oakland in the Summit League final.
Collins off the mark, Morris with a rebound, and stick back. So they have a set of twins, rather, on this Kansas team. It's Markieff Morris and Marcus Morris.
Well, here's where Kansas really has to get the job done on the boards. Number one in the Big 12 in rebound margin at +7. And Morris right there with a nice job of just getting good offensive position on the glass.
Marcus Morris, the younger twin, by 7 minutes. Tweet picked up his second foul at the 17:29 mark of the first half, as Morris knocks down the free throw. And the Twins are from Philadelphia.
And we talked about North Dakota State, this being kind of a home game for them. 12,000 North Dakota State grads in this area, the Twin Cities.
Collins down the lane, comes up short. Woodside wants it, is not taking a shot. Here's a pick and roll.
You take a look at number 40, Lucas Mormon, setting screens at the high post. He's got to be able to keep Cole Aldrich honest.
Jump shot off the mark for Mormon. And here come the Jayhawks. Taylor, young man from Hoboken, New Jersey. Inside and a whistle. Looks like another foul coming up, and this will go against North Dakota State.
Well, we see North Dakota State's strategy down low. They know that they're outmanned from a size standpoint. They're going to aggressively double any type of post-entry pass.
Mormon called for the foul. That's his first. And Tyshawn Taylor, the inbounder. Here's Collins. Guarded by Mike Nelson, inside Aldrich.
And that's where they need to have the big fella close to the basket. With that length, they've got the ability to do a number of things. Straight entry posts, alley-oop.
For Kansas, their rules are simple today. They want to take care of the ball, take good shots, and a rebound. Baseline good. Winkleman. So North Dakota State comes out shooting it well. Winkleman knocks down his first shot. And we have a 9-7 game.
Again, the idea, Aldridge on the move, looking for those entry passes in the post.
Taylor. Long rebound picked up. Here comes Nelson in transition. Straight to the bucket, left hand short. Taylor, the freshman, rips it down. Diagonal pass, rise and fire, Collins. Got it. Sherron Collins is a great player. Came up with huge plays during the national championship run last year for Kansas, especially in the national championship game. And he gives the Jayhawks a 1-point lead. Woodside turns the corner and banks it softly.
Well, when you're 5'11" and you're an explosive scorer, you need to have that soft, high-arcing runner. And Ben Woodside has perfected that.
Collins popping out, puts it on the deck, hard to the bucket, and hits.
Collins with the basket.
So Collins going to work early and often here. He has 7 points. 1-point game. Baseline Nelson with the step. Inside, nice play and a foul. 14:47 to play first half. 12-11, Kansas. The Summit League. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore with you. Vacillating pace, Len, to start.
Well, again, both teams trying to feel each other out. Neither one afraid to play the up-tempo game, but obviously North Dakota State wants to be able to make it a baseline-to-baseline game, because usually that takes the big guys out of the game.
Collins coming back on the floor. Lucas Mormon from Dickinson, North Dakota, at the free throw line. He was fouled by Marcus Morris. And the first free throw good for Mormon. He averages close to 5 points per game. Not a very good free throw shooter. Coming into this game, 13 of 30. That's 43%. They feel that he's a very good interior defender, a chest-up defender. What does that mean?
Well, it means the guy who's going to get into your grill and be able to stay with you step for step, challenge your jump shots, and really never lose.
Collins off to a good start, has 7 points for Kansas. Joined by Morningstar, the shooter, Morris. Aldridge popping out. Baseline. Reed to the bucket, no good. Out of bounds, and will stay right here. So now a sub will come in. And this is Eric Carlson coming in for North Dakota State, and Lucas Mormon will take a seat on the bench. Shot clock down to 3. Collins, the lob inside. Morningstar comes up short. Good idea. Woodside turns the corner again and gets to the bucket. He can score points in bunches. Ben Woodside is a Steve Nash type point guard for college basketball. Collins the other way, up high and in.
Well, again, we talked about both of these guys' experience. Ron Collins played significant minutes last year for the national champions. And Ben Woodside, a guy that redshirt senior, been waiting for this moment.
Big jump shot goes down for Josh Vaughn. And North Dakota State takes a 17-14 lead.
And they've been able to do it primarily beyond the arc, although Woodside with some penetration.
North Dakota State doing a nice job defensively helping. They have closed down on all shooters, except for Collins. He fires off the bounce and buries it. Back and forth they go here in Minneapolis. A 3 versus a 14 as the defending national champion Jayhawks are getting their money's worth against North Dakota State. 17-16, Aldridge rips it down. And here come the Jayhawks in transition. Collins off the dribble. Got it again. Uh-oh. Heat check time for Sharon Collins. He averages 18. He has 13 here in the first half. Ben Woodside.
Good switch out there by Cole Aldridge just to make sure that Woodside doesn't get off a jumper on that screen and roll.
Woodside guarded by Collins. Drives. And he gets his pocket pick. Reed. Straight to the coverage. And it's stripped and he's fouled. Josh Vaughn picks up the foul. Now the winner here will take on the winner of our next game, West Virginia Dayton, a 6 versus an 11. And that should also, Len, be a terrific ball game. Big East versus the Atlantic 10.
Well, West Virginia has beaten Pittsburgh, at times the #1 team in the nation, and they've demonstrated that they can rebound with the best of them.
Reed shoots 2.
Tyrell Reed from Burlington, Kansas, a sophomore at the line. Comes up short. He averages 7 points a game. 81% free throw shooter. Wholesale substitutions coming in for Kansas.
And this is where Kansas really has to kind of get their advantage going. They've got a deep bench. You know, a number of guys that come on and play significant minutes. In fact, they've got 8 guys that play 12 minutes or more. Now, combined with that size, they're hoping to wear North Dakota State down.
19-17. Here comes Woodside. Will play virtually the entire game. North Dakota State 4 for 4 from the 3-point line. Nelson. Step back 3. And here come the Jayhawks. Appleton to the bucket. Strong, tapped up and in though by Morris.
Weak side rebounding. We've seen it several times by Kansas right now. Again, a team that's very adept at hitting the glass on both ends of the floor.
That was Markeith Morris, the older twin that comes off the bench. Winkleman posting. Inside, beautiful.
Sweeping the switch inside. Markeith Morris has got to be able to close off that middle, much the same way Cole Aldridge is able to do.
North Dakota State hanging tough. Morris off the heel, and Nelson pulls it down. 21-19. Woodside. Baseline jump shot, Tweed. Out of bounds, and we'll head the other way. 10:53 to play first half. Close game in Minnesota. 21-19, Jayhawks. Points for Collins. And this young man really setting the tone for his team.
Well, over the last 8 games coming into this one, he's averaged about 23 points a game. Really taking the load offensively. And again, with his experience from last year, played significant minutes, primarily off the bench. He and Cole Aldridge, the most experienced guys on this team.
Aldridge only played 8 minutes a game last year. Baseline, Morris picks it up, fires, comes up short. Winkleman in the rebound. North Dakota State said they wanted to gang rebound this afternoon. Everybody had to get a couple. Woodside, guarded by Taylor.
Right now, without Aldridge in the game, and Lucas Moorman for North Dakota State having to take the bench with a couple of personal fouls. It's a little bit of a different game. When Aldridge comes in, we'll see if there's anyone on North Dakota State that can draw him out of the middle.
5 to shoot. Winkleman has to hurry. 3 to shoot. Turnaround baseliner. Strong. And here come the Jayhawks. Vaughn in transition. Nice look, Taylor. And Kansas takes a 23-19 lead.
Kansas doing a nice job now of continuing to shadow the ball handlers, challenge jump shots after a flurry of threes by North Dakota State. And as we mentioned, North Dakota State averages about 80 points a game. They'd like to run.
Woo. Woodside. He can shoot it off the bounce as well, folks. Complete package, 23-22.
And as soon as I talk about challenging shots, Woodside gets an open look.
Woodside has 7. He's very patient. Remember, he had a 60-point game this year against Stephen F. Austin in a loss. Deep jump shot. That one way off the mark for Tweed. I mean, to score 60 points in the game.
Half of those at least are from the free throw line.
Collins, left hand.
Talked about taking the offensive load. Sharon Collins, really aggressive going to the basket.
25-22, Collins with 15 in the first half on 7 of 9 shooting. Now coming up on AT&T at the half, Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, and Seth Davis will take you out for a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament, and they will get you caught up on all of the latest tournament news, plus an AT&T Naismith Watch update. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Your reaction to some of the games yesterday on the first day of the tournament?
Well, everyone thought the Virginia Commonwealth would have a chance against UCLA, and it came down to a last shot. And how about Gonzaga coming back on Akron? But for 8 minutes in the second half, I've never seen such absolutely terrific team play. Gonzaga distributed it, did a nice job going to their strengths. Probably the best basketball we saw yesterday.
Western Kentucky also with the upset against Illinois, and some feel that it wasn't an upset. Woodside backs it up, 14 to shoot. They want the ball in his hands as the shot clock runs out, and he's bumped by Collins. So let's take a look at our game summary. 25-22 the score.
Well, again, North Dakota State reliant on the three-point shot as well as Kansas inside. Both teams playing to their strengths.
Finally get it in bounds to Mike Nelson. Woodside kicks it out, Nelson deep. Aldridge can't hold on to it. Morris has the rebound.
Well, one thing you watch when you see Ben Woodside, it seems like he gets a step on his defender every time.
Nelson again off the Collins miss, and he'll peel it back, and here comes Woodside. What you like about Woodside is his ability to change gears with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, that's what gets him past his defender. He's not the absolute quickest guy, although he has some quicks. But the change of pace.
Deep again. Got it. Big Ben. ties the game at 25. And North Dakota State hanging right with the defending national champions.
And as we said, the longer they hang, the more they believe that this game is theirs.
Good post move from Marcus Morris, excuse me.
And good recognition by Kansas, time and score situation. Let's not take the quick perimeter shot when our advantage is down low.
Here's a pick and roll again, Woodside. Winkleman trying to create space. And a reach-in foul coming up against Kansas. 6:47 to play. 2-point ball game in Minnesota. All right, Greg, Johnny Flynn, spectacular in that 6 overtime game win in the Big East tournament against Connecticut. We'll see another Johnny Flynn type point guard here in Minnesota. A man from Boston College that can do some similar things.
Yeah, you're talking about Tyrese Rice, another guy who leads his team, certainly can put points on the board, but his team is better when he scores less. If you had any idea whether or not Syracuse had any legs left after an epic Big East tournament, 6 overtimes, and following up that with another overtime win, you know, that put that to rest right there.
Woodside again with the banker. And he ties it at 27. He has 12 points in the first half. Collins has 15. Inside, Aldridge kept it up high and pounds it down.
Well, that's the answer. Kansas doesn't need Sharon Collins to answer Ben Woodside. They've got the big fella inside, and as I mentioned earlier, a variety of options to get him the ball, whether it's the alley-oop or the straight entry pass from the post.
Woodside kicks it out, deep jumper. Off the mark for Vaughn. Loose ball, picked up Winkleman. They'll get a new shot clock.
And here's where Kansas really has to exercise fundamentals, blocking out on the defensive glass. North Dakota State very scrappy. They'll get in, and they'll get their hands on balls, keep them loose and alive.
Winkleman, 18 to shoot. Vaughn driving with 10 on the shot clock. He gets hung up. Now fires anyway. That's a brick. Long rebound. Tracked down by Reed.
That was outstanding man-to-man defense right there by Kansas.
Jump shot, and that is pure. Morningstar with his first basket of the game, and Kansas takes a 32-27 lead.
The Morningstar, definitely a long-range shooter. 44% from beyond the arc on the season, led the Big 12 in three-point field goal percentage.
Largest lead of the game for Kansas. Woodside again, the runner, but he fouls. He is fouled and will go to the line. CBSSports.com covers every moment of the madness. Get the latest expert analysis and updates, plus live scoring and stats from every game. It's all at CBSSports.com. Morningstar call for the foul, his second. Morningstar serves as the inbounder. Flowers knocked away. Jayhawks get to the basket, up and in. Tyshawn Taylor draws the foul and will go to the line.
Well, Tyshawn Taylor has been a very good support guy on the offense, averaging 15 points over the last 5.
And with 4:41 to play in the first half, Kansas takes a 34-27 lead.
Well, back here in Minneapolis, the heat is coming from the point. As we see Ben Woodside and Sharon Collins both just lighting it up. But for North Dakota State, Ben Woodside needs some help. He's 5 for 6 from the field. The rest of the team 5 of 18. Sharon Collins certainly getting help. He's 7 of 10. But his team in support, 8 of 16 from the field. So Kansas shooting the ball well. The great equalizer, though, for North Dakota State is the ability to knock down threes.
7 unanswered points for Kansas. Biggest lead of the game. And Woodside again manages to get to the basket. 14 points in the first half, 34-29. Woodside is 6 of 7 from the field. Taylor with the ball. Baseline shot off the mark, and the rebound goes to North Dakota State. Mario Little couldn't get it to fall.
Now putting a number of guys on Ben Woodside. You got Tyshawn Taylor now. Sharon Collins had been guarding him. Brady Morningstar had a hand.
3:48 to play in the first half, 34-29. Back to Minneapolis right after this.
Had meager representation in the NCAA tournament, certainly prevailed over Butler. And Tyler Hansbrough, congratulations, becoming the all-time ACC scorer, passing J.J. Redick in their game against Radford.
Reed, along with Taylor, who drives the baseline, has that one knocked out of his hands and out of bounds by DeJuan Flowers. So the winner of this game takes on the winner of our next game, West Virginia and Dayton, a 6 versus 11.
And if Kansas right now with this 5-point lead wants to prevail, this is an opportunity for them now with North Dakota State about to go into the penalty on the free throw line. Don't settle for perimeter jumpers unless they're wide open. Go inside, draw fouls, get good shots.
Aldridge with a nice catch and finish inside. And that's what they want, points in the paint.
And on the other end, Ben Woodside, the guy with the hot hand, make him give it up. Force somebody else to beat you.
Nelson driving, short, Flowers there, and a tie-up jump ball. And the possession arrow favors Kansas. Vitamin Water Revive is asking fans to revive their game-winning moment at NCAA.com for a chance to win a trip to this year's men's Final Four in Detroit.
And Gus, on that last exchange, Kansas doing exactly what they need to methodically build this lead. They need a cushion going in at half, feel good about themselves, because they know that North Dakota State with the three-point shot certainly can come back in a hurry. A nice job there on the drive, getting in the paint. High percentage shots, forcing North Dakota State to play deep. And there's a double team, just forcing Woodside to give it up.
And they throw it out of bounds. 38-29. Largest lead of the game for Kansas. Coach Self has led 3 teams into the NCAA tournament. Tulsa, Illinois, as well as this Kansas team winning the national title last year over Memphis.
Again, the size advantage right here. Don't let the metal up off the pedal and continue to get in the paint.
Collins working hard. Flowers pulls it down. North Dakota State can't fall asleep. Here's Woodside to the basket. That's a goaltending call. So Woodside picks up his 16th point.
Nicole Aldridge, terrific shot blocker, over 2 a game. Just a step too slow as Woodside gets it on the glass before Aldridge gets there. Good follow right there as the ball hits the backboard first before Aldridge gets a hand on it. But the quickness of Ben Woodside beating the defense down the floor.
Woodside from Albert Lee, Minnesota. About 45 minutes from here. Here come the Bison. Winkleman, quick release. Count it.
Oh, we told you, the three-point shot, the great equalizer. North Dakota looking to try to balance this thing out with the 3-ball. On an exchange of the ball, but on the other end, after going inside and having great success in building a lead, suddenly Kansas's guards are looking to try to penetrate and do it themselves instead of looking for the big fella. There you go.
Aldridge from Collins. Great play out of a timeout coming up.
Bill Self is quite aware of that, and he's got to make it clear to his team that this is how we build a lead. Use our advantage.
40-34. Aldridge with 8 points in the first half.
And on the other end, no uncontested threes. Got to be able to get a hand in the face of the shooter.
And Woodside bumped up top. 1:15 to play in the first half. Kansas a 3 versus North Dakota State a 14. And the Jayhawks have led by as many as 9 points, but Ben Woodside, the star player for North Dakota State, has 16 points in the first half. And he is trying to keep this team out of the Summit League in the game with the ball now.
This is a game where North Dakota State has to rely on the three-point shot as well as Ben Woodside by himself.
Woodside short that time, and a foul on the rebound. Now the winner of this game takes on the winner of our next game, West Virginia a 6 versus Dayton. That's the Big East versus the Atlantic 10.
On the offensive side, Kansas, they've established Sharon Collins as being a threat out there, and then to build the lead, they've been able to go inside to their big people, particularly Cole Aldridge, 4 or 5 from the field with 8 points. But every once in a while, when they get away from that, they get away from looking to the big guys, they get away from penetrating, and they misfire. North Dakota State able to push the ball back up the floor and get some open looks from beyond the arc, and that's why they're hanging around.
Saul Phillips, 3 years as an assistant at Wisconsin, 3 years as an assistant here at North Dakota State. He is in his second year as the head coach in Fargo. Second free throw, no. And the rebound for Winkleman. He is 5 rebounds away from being the all-time leading rebounder in school history. And Woodside, the floater this time off the mark. Long outlet pass, tracked down by Appleton.
Good job on the pull-up, but poor pass. Cross-court pass not necessary. When you take a look at the time with about 42 seconds left. On the other end, though, it's pretty good defense by Marcus Morris.
Woodside fouled by Aldridge.
Now, why do you foul an outstanding free throw shooter 40 feet away from the basket when all you have to do is contain until you get help?
So that will allow Woodside to head to the line and shoot free throws.
I mean, I know Ben Woodside's got some range, but not that far.
Not from the hash mark. So Woodside, as Aldridge picks up the foul, and that is his first. Woodside is an 84% free throw shooter.
But that's almost like giving away 2 points when your big guy, even though he's helping out on the hedge or helping outside 40 feet from the basket, all you need is to extend it and really kind of contain. But right there, they dodged one as Woodside, 84% free throw shooter, misses.
So Kansas spreads the floor. They'll play for one shot. Collins has been sensational. He has 15 with it right now and has had no problems penetrating and getting to the bucket. 10 to go. Now we'll get into it. Step back jump shot. Pure. And that is the end of the first half. Kansas closes on a 16-7 run. Collins with 17 points. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right.
For him as the half came to an end. So let's see if the North Dakota State Bison have some answers for the inside play of the Jayhawks of Kansas.
Well, for Kansas, they're really thinking again, maintain the consistency on defense. Woodside's going to get his, but you certainly have to make sure that he doesn't get any help. He's got 17 points, no one else in double figures. 16 points, I should say, no one else in double figures. And if they can do that and come down on the other end, continue to go inside, get points in the paint and build this lead, you know, they can kind of put these Bison away. But that's easier said than done.
So Woodside, Winkleman, along with Mormon, Tweet, and Nelson on the court to start the second half. Winkleman driving on the baseline. High arcer goes down. He's got great touch.
They certainly do. Had a 42 consecutive game double-figure scoring streak in the Summit League Championship. But he's been a consistent scorer throughout his career at North Dakota State.
He had 9. There we go again. Aldridge all day. Aldridge with 10 points now.
I was going to say, Gus, that's a sign of an experienced team understanding exactly what they have to do to extend this lead.
Woodside, that one short, tracks down his own rebound. Kicks it out and it's stolen. They find Taylor ahead of the field. And the freshman bangs it down.
Well, how about that? North Dakota State gets Ben Woodside for an open look. And he's a 43% shooter from beyond the arc. He comes up short. Kansas turns it into a transition bucket. Bit demoralizing.
Largest lead of the game for Kansas. Winkleman.
Mormon's got to look at the basket. He's got to contain Aldridge, and Aldridge has to stop reaching.
And Aldridge picks up the foul. That's his second. Near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Learn more about Chevy innovations at Chevy.com.
But Cole Aldridge, with that reach, doesn't have to reach for the ball. He just has to extend himself and make it difficult to shoot over when he switches out on the guard. Done a better job there.
Inside, Winkleman, quick turn. Batted around, picked up. Here come the Jayhawks. Taylor to Collins, quick release. And the rebound to Tweed. So let's see how smart North Dakota State is. Aldridge has 2 fouls. If they can go at him, deep jumper. That one's short.
Well, the problem for North Dakota State is that Lucas Mormon, their center, 6'10", playing out near the free throw line. It's not really a guy that's going to go to the basket. But he has to turn and face and make himself a threat, draw Aldridge out of the middle, and it makes it a lot easier for his guards and his forwards to be able to penetrate.
Woodside, baseline jump shot, Tweet, and he hits it. Mike Tweet. And the North Dakota State Bison hanging around. 47-39 now. And a steal. Woodside. Collins is back. Woodside to the basket, and he will go to the line. And one thing about Woodside, he plays under such control, Glenn. You wouldn't know if he has 50 points or 5.
You look at right there, Tyshawn Taylor hesitates, and that gives Woodside enough time to shoot the gap. And you saw the bump right there from Sharon Collins. I'll tell you what, again, it comes down to being able to play to your strengths, not to hesitate as Taylor did in the paint. But if you leave him open, Ben Woodside will make you pay. And you take a look, he made Stephen F. Austin pay.
Tie the NCAA record with Pete Maravich for free throws made. Second one good. Woodside with 18 points. And just like that, North Dakota State back in the game, down by 6. They've trailed by as many as 11. That gets the crowd back into it. 5-0 run for the Bison. Inside Aldridge. Turnaround jump shot. Rims off. Winkleman rakes it.
Much better job by Mormon taking position away from Aldridge, forcing him to shoot over instead of allowing him to get the lob.
That one's short. Batted up. Counted on the foul. Tweet. Quick jumper. And he will go to the line and shoot 1. So here we go. North Dakota State right back in it. (47-43). Kansas leading North Dakota State, but the Bison have scored 7 unanswered points and are at the free throw line right now. Mike Tweet with the tip in. Looking to cut it to 3.
Well, this has been a game where Kansas goes into the half with a 9-point lead, seemingly playing to their strengths, rolling along. But they came out here in the second half, kind of stumbled a little bit on the offensive end. Couple of turnovers, next thing you know, the Bison are back in the ball game.
Tyrell Reed running the point now. They move Collins off the ball. Now he backs it up. Morris comes out the screen. Collins off the dribble. Now Kansas starting to rush their shots a bit.
Yeah, and they're not exploring inside. I mean, really what's going to make North Dakota State's defense change is get the ball in, play some inside out.
Winkleman. Woodside facing on Collins with the step and the banker short.
Well, the presence of Cole Aldridge made Woodside pull up short that time as Aldridge came over to help.
Reed. And he gets his own rebound. New shot clock for the Jayhawks.
And they got a reset. You see Cole Aldridge come in the game late. When you're playing a transition game, taking the big man out of the game.
Here's a lob, Aldridge. They get him right back in it.
Well, again, it came down to setting up in the half court, allowing Aldridge to get back in the flow. If you're starting to go racehorse baseline to baseline, that favors North Dakota State because Cole Aldridge is relegated to running free throw line to free throw line.
Tweet trying to get a quick three to go down and a foul on the rebound. And this will go against Lucas Mormon.
Take a look here. Getting back in the ball game is Cole Aldridge as his team sets up in the half court, throws the alley, and Aldridge provides the oop.
Welcome back and a look at the tournament summary.
Well, Memphis, a team a lot of people think has something to prove, not getting the #1 seed, survives Cal State Northridge. And Western Kentucky playing an Illinois team depleted without their leader, Chester Frazier. And the guards, A.J. Slaughter, Orlando Mendez-Valdez, took advantage of that.
Collins on the baseline, 49-44, Kansas with the lead. Jayhawks have led by as many as 11. Inside, ball knocked away and stolen by Mike Tweed, and a foul. And don't forget, NCAA March Madness on Demand is streaming every game from the NCAA Championship online for free. Watch any game from the tournament live at ncaa.com.
In this half, it seems Kansas a bit tentative on the offensive end. You know, not really throwing passes with confidence. We saw that turnover. We've seen Tyshawn Taylor hesitate a little bit.
And Tweet gets the roll.
It's playing right into North Dakota State's hands.
Tweet had 3 points at halftime, 11 now, 3-point game. Remember, you have 4 seniors on this North Dakota State team. A lot of young guys playing for Kansas, and a foul.
And not only are they seniors, they're redshirt seniors. All of them redshirted, recognizing that once they got to Division I and the eligibility period had passed, they'd have this opportunity their last year to be able to play in the NCAA tournament for Division I. And the 5-year plan seemed to have worked out for Saul Phillips and his guys, and that experience many times makes the difference.
Reed facing on Winkleman. Collins working hard around screens, down the lane, the kick. Morningstar got it.
We tell you Brady Morningstar led the Big 12 in three-point field goal percentage. That's his shot. And a nice play again by Kansas, kind of righting themselves after stumbling a bit on the offensive end.
Flowers working on Aldridge, has that one blocked. Aldridge just kept his hands high in the air.
It's all he has to do. He's got tremendous reach.
Collins driving. Winkleman clears it. Here comes Woodside. Off the dribble again, gets there, and it's kicked.
Well, one of the guys that needed to help Ben Woodside, Michael Tweet. We talked about him, 21 points in the Summit Tournament Final. And today he's kind of lighting up, picking up where he left off, averaging about 17 points over the last 2 games. At the beginning of the second half, we said Ben Woodside needs a little bit of help from his friends. And Michael Tweet more than happy to comply.
Winkleman, he also needs to continue to score. The jumper inside goes down, and he has 10 points. 52-48.
Well, we said one of the keys is not to allow the Bison to stick around and put them to pasture. Kansas thought they had done that, but somehow they ran out of the gate, man. It's starting to stampede a bit, kicking up some noise.
Collins backs it up with 10 to shoot. Shake and bake. 20-footer. Got it. Wow. 19 points for Sharon Collins.
You see the toughness from Sharon Collins right there.
Wow. And you see the toughness from Woodside as he gets there as well. 20 points for him. Collins the other way, the teardrop. And it rattles down. You are seeing 2 excellent point guards here in college basketball.
Well, outstanding from the standpoint of not playing the pure point guard position, but being able to carry their team on the offensive end, create a threat so they can get guys involved later on. It looked like a foul right there. Contact created, no call.
Reed the other way. Aldridge comes out to screen, pick and roll. Collins has been deadly. Stop and start. Baseline, Morningstar. High arc or no.
Good challenge by Ben Woodside on Morningstar's three. Defensive intensity picking up on both sides.
Wow. Woodside splitting the defense, got it, and the foul. I tell you what, folks, this kid is a baller. This is Steve Nash right here in Minnesota. 11:48 to play, 56-52.
4:53, back to Minneapolis. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore.
And thank you very much, Greg. Now we have a tight one here as well. 56-53. Kansas, a number 3, taking on 14th seeded North Dakota State.
Well, I talked about the defensive intensity picking up so much so that the big people for Kansas are being pulled outside as they're trying to deny, and that's opened up the middle twice in a row now for Ben Woodside.
Collins, another jump shot, this time off the mark.
And unlike Ben Woodside, who is focused on getting into the paint off the bounce, Sharon Collins settling for the jump.
Woodside again, and he's fouled. So we have had 7 lead changes and 4 ties in this game. Let's take a look at our game summary by half.
And in the first half, North Dakota State using the 3-ball to stay in the ball game. Kansas going inside. And in the second half, it's just the opposite. North Dakota penetrating, particularly Ben Woodside, getting into the paint, and Kansas settling for jump shots.
So Taylor called for the foul, non-shooting foul, his second. Tweet rises from 20. In and out. And an over-the-back foul coming up. And it will go against Winkleman. And that's his first. Saul Phillips knows that his team is in this game. You have to feel good if you're North Dakota State with 11:16 to play, down by 3. Appleton in the game along with Taylor, the freshman. Morris off the dribble and a whistle and foul. He was bumped. North Dakota State fans wanted to travel, but they won't get it. Watch live look-ins, in-game highlights, and more all night on NCAA March Madness Central, powered by Pontiac. Tomorrow night at 7:30 only on the CBS College Sports Network.
At least on this possession, Kansas recognizing they've got to put pressure on the North Dakota State defense, like trying to get into the paint, going inside and not settling for jumpers.
4 fouls on Mormon, so Sam Suenguth checks in. He wears number 34 green. Reed driving, elevates, in and out. Tweet with another rebound. One and done for Kansas.
And you see North Dakota State defensively sagging back.
Woodside driving. Baseline Tweet, catch and shoot. Won't stay down. Bison getting good looks. Taylor the other way, dribbles it out of bounds.
Well, we'll see if Kansas starts to feel the anxiety. The longer North Dakota State sticks around, the deeper the hole that Kansas is going to dig.
It's called the Archie Bell and the Drell syndrome.
Tighten up?
That's right. 56-53.
You're too young to know about that.
My father played that music. From Houston, Texas. Tweet wide open. Now Collins wants to take this game over. You can feel it.
Yeah, but he's got to do it judiciously. He can't force shots like he did there.
Has it blocked. Picked up Winkleman. To the basket. And an offensive foul. That's an offensive foul against Winkleman.
And that's a good defensive play by Reed. Sharon Collins has to not only create for himself, but when that shut off, create for others. That time he forced it, And look at Reed backpedaling. Now he's going to take the path. Right there, an excellent job. Anticipating, taking the spot, holding it, drawing the charge.
Lobbed inside, Aldridge, great catch.
Excellent hands.
No basket, but he is fouled.
And you see what a magnet Cole Aldridge is for those green shirts.
16.
And don't forget, the winner here takes on the winner of West Virginia and Dayton. A 6-11 game coming up next.
West Virginia, tremendous rebounding team. Dayton, an outstanding defensive team.
Suwanguth picked up the foul, his first. Lobbed inside Aldridge again, and he's fouled again.
Back to basics for Kansas. They built the lead that they went in the half with by doing exactly that. Sharon Collins got them started, but Aldridge is the one that helped build the lead by getting it inside, putting the pressure on North Dakota State. And Kansas going back to that plan.
And Aldridge, a very good free throw shooter, 80% on the season. And he gets the first. Monday on CBS, the CSIs are being hunted. Don't miss a new episode of CSI Miami Monday on CBS, America's most watched network. 3 fouls on Winkleman.
And that's what Kansas has been able to do by going inside. 4 fouls on Moorman, their starting center. 3 on Winkleman. Kansas continues to work that plan inside out. They might win this game through attrition.
Woodside again, slashing to the basket.
He's beating them at will.
Incredible, 25 points. Collins trying to answer, and does. You are seeing 2 little fire plugs at point guard. Collins has 23. Pick and roll again. Woodside. Winkleman will find his point guard straight away. And Aldridge goes up high. 60-55. An eternity remaining in this game. Aldridge. And he's fouled.
Well, we talked about Kansas trying to work inside out. But for this game, it's always been the point guards right from the jump. And Ben Woodside, Sharon Collins just answering each other. We're seeing a tremendous display of scoring point guard skills. The only drawback with Ben Woodside, the 5 turnovers, he's seen an awful lot of pressure from the Kansas defense.
Suwanguth picks up his 4th foul.
Aldridge.
1-1. Aldridge missing. Now Woodside stop and start again, and he's fouled. And that should send him to the line to shoot 1-1 in the runaway hit of the season. Simon Baker stars in a new episode of The Mentalist at a special time. Tuesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. So Collins picks up his 3rd. Woodside at the line, 1-1. And this is the man you don't want at the line. He's an 84% free throw shooter. 26 points for him. And he is 4 of 5 from the stripe today.
Sharon Collins, such an integral part of this offense. Many times the only part of the Kansas offense. On the defensive end, he's going to have to switch. He's going to have to let Reed take Woodside to avoid picking up that 4th foul.
Aldridge, another great catch and finish. Keep the big fella's hands full.
That's right. Keep them happy. Feed your horses, they'll work for you.
62-57, 16 points.
And you look at Reed now on Woodside.
And a foul. And that will be the 3rd on Aldridge. 7:57 to play, second half. North Dakota State heading to the free throw line. 7:57 to play in the second half. Kansas with a 62-57 lead over North Dakota State.
For the Bison, number 40, Lucas Moorman.
Competitive game here. in downtown Minneapolis. This young man has been spectacular. Ben Woodside, 27 points, shooting 2 at the line, and he has kept this North Dakota State team in this game.
Well, he certainly has. The ball has been in his hands every possession, and he's created for himself as well as others off the bounce, not settling for jump shots. On the other hand, Kansas a little more diverse on the offensive end, but primarily it's been Collins and Aldridge. And Aldridge in particularly has had no one able to stop him if Kansas can get him the ball.
Collins, deep 3. Bang!
And that time you had Aldridge and Collins set up on the same side, so it's hard to really pressure the ball. Dropping back, trying to help on help on Aldridge gives Collins a wide open look.
Tweet has also been good with the ball now. Woodside driving, cut off Aldridge, help defense.
And that's what Kansas needs to do, keep Aldridge in the middle.
And they turn it over. Morningstar used his body to shield away the defender.
Very clever move by Morningstar, and Mormon with foul trouble didn't even want to bother.
67 to 59.
From Cole Aldridge, Mormon hasn't demonstrated he's a threat. I'm staying playing a one-man zone in that paint to help out on Ben Woodside until Mormon demonstrates he can knock a shot down.
Woodside driving the runner. No call. Aldridge takes it away. Outlet to Collins. Here he comes. Leaves it. Gets it back downtown.
And again, in transition, Cole Aldridge stayed back on the defensive end. Kansas has to recognize that their big fella's not running with him. Hold it up. Let him get down the floor, because that poses the maximum threat.
Meanwhile, North Dakota State needs some other players to step up and hit shots. Winkleman picks up his dribble.
Again, there's Aldridge playing that one-man zone, as I mentioned, staying in the paint, deterring the drive.
Bison almost threw it away. Nelson. And a shot clock violation. Now Kansas starting to stiffen it up on defense. And don't forget, the winner of this game will take on the winner of our second game, West Virginia and Dayton. 67 to 59. Tyshawn Taylor walks it into the front court. Collins, bounce pass, Aldridge, and a foul.
Well, Kansas has found a variety of ways to get it to Cole Aldridge. Not only the straight-in post entry, the alley-oops, but here on the screen and roll. Just a nice job. Aldridge sets a screen for Collins, gets him free, and rolls to the basket. It's a pretty close bang-bang situation there, but the aggressor gets the call, and Aldridge going to the basket strong.
So Lucas Mormon fouls out with 3 points. 5:47 to play. Saul Phillips thought that was an offensive foul.
It's about as close as you can get.
Cole Aldridge, very dominant this afternoon.
Well, again, he's got the size, and as long as Kansas continues to look at him, it's maximum pressure on the North Dakota State defense, because you see Aldridge knows how to finish, but you got to get the ball in his hands. And if he's surrounded by green shirts, he's got to be able to kick it out to the surrounding jump shooters.
Ironically, Cole Aldridge, a sophomore from Bloomington, Minnesota. So he's playing at home. And he gets a pair. 10-point lead for the Jayhawks, who have led by as many as 11, currently on a 7-0 run.
And you see those frontline players. Foul trouble, Mormon out, Susan Goof, and Winkleman in foul trouble. And again, look at Aldridge, not even going out to guard Susan Goof. Playing that one-man zone in the paint.
And a timeout called by North Dakota State. Great perimeter defense by Kansas. Shooters not getting any looks. Kansas. 69-59. So all of a sudden, Bill Self and the Jayhawks have made an adjustment, and it's awfully hard for this North Dakota State team to get shots off on the perimeter.
Well, again, they're really digging in, recognizing they've got the Big 12's leading shot blocker, Cole Aldridge, staying in the middle, trying to make sure nobody gets to the rim. And right there, Ben Woodside says, okay, let me stretch the defense just a little.
Woodside with 31 points. 5 minutes to play. 69-61. Taylor has been the man that has come in and served as a terrific backup point guard. Collins.
You got to keep going to your bigs inside out.
Woodside again, the runner. And a foul. So Sunday on CBS, you'll be moved and inspired by what you see when the Amazing Race travels to India. Sunday on CBS, America's most watched network.
I'll tell you what, Gus, it really surprises me that Woodside's able to get into the paint every time Aldridge is pulled out, and Aldridge shouldn't be pulled out. The guy he's guarding, Sam Sissenguth, has only taken 16 shots on the season.
And it seems like Woodside has been able to be effective in transition before that Kansas defense really has a chance to set. He's going as soon as he sees a slight opening as he hits the second free throw.
But again, there really shouldn't be an opening, and particularly on the opportunities where Kansas can get back, set their defense. Cole Aldridge doesn't need to go out and guard anybody. He just needs to guard the paint.
Taylor finds Collins down the lane, comes up short. Aldridge rips it, batted around. Who wants it? Picked up by Morris, and a new shot clock for Kansas. North Dakota State giving the national champs a run for their money here as Collins backs it up. They want it in his hands. High screen. Deals it out in the corner, draws a double.
Nice.
Finds a wide open Taylor block. Flowers blocks it out of bounds. Flowers with his third block. 12 to shoot. North Dakota State not finished yet. 69-62. Back after this.
You're supposed
12 to shoot. Here's Collins down the lane, inside. Morris lays it up and in.
off the penetration, the dribble. Teron Collins now getting the field for distributing, creating for somebody else.
He has 8 assists to go along with his 26 points. 71-62.
And again, look at Aldridge staying in the middle. I wouldn't step out there if I'm Kansas. I'm gonna make sure no penetration in the paint.
Winkleman can't get it to fall. Batted around, and a foul call, and that will send North Dakota State to the line.
But by the same token, if you're keeping the big man in the middle, you got to come up with those rebounds.
And the winner here will take on the winner of our next game, West Virginia Dayton. DeJuan Flowers at the line.
Flowers will shoot 2.
And here comes a sub, Mike Nelson.
Mike Nelson replaces Susan Guth.
Susan Guth heads to the bench. (71-64). As Collins takes his time and taxis into the front court. Pick and roll with Morris.
Right now, Kansas obviously trying to exercise some patience, but still looking inside.
Morris driving, baseline. Aldridge pounds it down. Beautiful interior passing.
Well, it's the mobility of Marcus Morris at the top that created that, putting it on the floor.
Ball knocked out of Woodside's hands. 73-64. Kansas, a 3 versus North Dakota State, a 14. Woodside going to the ball.
You see Flowers steps out. Aldridge is guarding him. Aldridge doesn't bite.
Woodside 3 deep. Pure! Wow! 35. The Bison refuse to go away, but they need stops. 73-67.
With about 2 minutes left now, Kansas looking to milk the clock. Try to utilize clock before they go into their offense.
Here they go. Collins turns the corner, driving up. No. Aldridge with a spectacular tip jam. And one.
Well, that was an outstanding follow by Cole Aldridge, but it came off the penetration.
Incredible. Aldridge putting on a show in his home state. 22 points, 13 rebounds.
I said it before at the beginning of the telecast. Cole Manning in the middle on both ends. Defensively, the one-man zone. On the offense, he's starting to dominate in the paint.
And a lane violation called against Winkleman.
Lane violation. Substitute throw.
So Aldridge adds the free throw. 76-67. Woodside. Baseline. And Collins pulls it down and will take his time.
Much better defense. If you know Cole Aldridge, a terrific shot blocker, is back there in the middle, you don't want to give Woodside any room. You want to make him drive as opposed to allowing him an open look, because with an open look, he'll bury you.
All the young point guards out there, watch Collins. He's so good in space, so low with the dribble, can get anywhere he wants. Oh, my goodness. Woodside the other way.
Now here in transition, Aldridge makes sure he gets back quickly.
Winkleman 3. Got it. Timeout, North Dakota State. So we got a 6-point game, 2 possessions, 1:07 to play.
And on a miss, Kansas has to be wary of the shooters in transition. They're not looking to get...
This is where Tennessee can be very tough on inbounds pass. They frequently cause turnovers. They just drag you and get after you.
Dribbled it off his right foot.
Now Moses is going to have to be dragged like Chisholm. Now they're back in the zone now. And they've been dribble driving. They've been right in there with it. Oh, not a good look. Chisholm. He had a kick to the corner to Mays.
Timeout, Oklahoma State. 89 seconds to go. Tied at 72.
Just one of those forced issues on both ends, but Tennessee gets all over your inbounders. They like to have you loop the ball and run a safety after it.
Greg Gumbel in New York will keep you posted on what happens in Dayton. Meanwhile, in Minneapolis, Kansas with a 6-point lead on North Dakota. Let's listen in to Gus and Len.
1 minute to play. The Bison Coastals on 31.
Now that's a strange play. Why would Nelson foul him? That sends him right to the free throw line. They didn't need a foul.
2-possession ball game. I guess in their minds, they're going to make this an opportunity for Kansas to tighten up if they can. Kansas, pretty good free throw shooting team, about 73%. And Collins, their best free throw shooter at 80%.
And the second free throw is good. 28 points for Collins. Here comes Woodside. The runner. And batted out of bounds by Aldridge.
But more importantly, not only do you foul maybe a bit early, it's a two-possession ball game, and I guess under a minute you want to maximize the possessions. But then if you're going to trade 2 for 3, why take a 2?
Baseline. Winkleman, no good, and Collins with the rebound. Now North Dakota State has major trouble. Now they have to foul. I believe Mike Nelson fouled him on that last trip, and he really wasn't understanding what the situation called for. Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Ben Woodside, 35 today. Collins with 28.
Could there be any doubt? I mean, Cole Aldridge with a terrific game, dominating inside, but these two guys control the basketball game for their respective teams.
First free throw good for Sharon Collins.
32, Josh Vaughn replaces John Collins for the Bison.
Kansas folks hoping for that free throw to drop. Maybe an opportunity to kind of exhale. A 10-point lead with 44 seconds left. Again, this is an opportunity to pick up carefully, tighten up on Woodside.
Woodside on the baseline, and he hits another jump shot. And a foul. 80-72. And the Jayhawks will make the walk to the other end of the floor.
The Bison foul on 23, Michael Tweet, his third.
So Tweet called for his third. Been a great season for North Dakota State, 26-6, winning the Summit League regular season and tournament, advancing to the NCAA Division I tournament for the first time.
And on that last possession and continuing, Bill Self has gone small, getting Aldridge out of the game, getting all of his best ball handlers in the ball game right now, as well as the best perimeter defenders to make sure North Dakota State gets no open threes.
And Kansas calls a time for the lead.